sword and certain buckler will be. In the blue corner, from FFC Paladin in Russia, Mikhail Bakir.
So there is a significant height difference here that you see. Bakir is
in the red corner,
short.
from Stockholm,
Christopher Stansson is pretty tall.
in Sweden, obviously. Christopher Stansson!
Stansson, ladies and gentlemen, who's fought 3 years in a row for third place, trying to get that first place.
So when you have someone like Stansson, who has been in tournament after tournament after tournament and medal after medal after medal and been on the live stream many times as well, the level of stress for someone like him is actually pretty low at this point in time. I don't know about Bakir. He's an unknown quantity to me. I don't believe we've seen him here. We've certainly not seen him medal before.
You know, it's not the level of stress for a guy like Stansson, but they compete in so many categories, so they're pretty bashed up by the end of the tournament.
It's true.
But now he hasn't fought in as many tournaments, so you'll see a fresher Stansson.
Right.
I mean, he pretty much had a swollen foot and broken arm last year when he was fencing.
All right, so we had a thrust and a nice void and a cut and a nice void by Stansson. Very good control of distance. He's managed to avoid 2 or 3 separate blows and then land one of his own. I believe that was a cut to the arm as he right after he voided an attack by Bakir. Cut. That does nothing. It looked to me after an exchange of blows that landed on the buckler that we saw a thrust by Bakir. I thought I saw something land by Stansson. No, it was a cut to the head by Bakir. Thrust did not land, parried with a buckler. Looked like another, I'm not sure if that was a cut or a thrust that landed by Bakir. Let's see it on the instant replay. That was a low line cut by Stansson.
Oh, and a swing and a miss. Confusion in the ring. So one of the judges called point, and nobody else saw it. So when you see the judges wave a flag in the ground, it means they saw something happen. They saw a strike, but it was no quality. It wasn't of enough impact to score a point.
Stansson keeps going for the low line, but Bakir keeps voiding it. And then he ran onto a thrust, but it looked like he returned it himself. So those were an exchange of thrusts to the torso, which will take a lot out of you, taking a heavy thrust to the torso. It looks like that was finally a cut to the leg that landed by Stansson. He's got to be careful about that, though. He's certainly got a reach advantage, but going directly to a low-line attack is always a little perilous, especially against an experienced fencer. His reach is great, but it's not that great. Each one takes a blow. Each one either voids or parries with a buckler, a thrust, a cut, all parried.
Strike to the head by Stansson.
I believe that was partially caught by the...
and there was caught by thrust. Yeah, there was a thrust. There was an early thrust by Bakir. One of the judges saw it as a hit to the head.
Thrust by Stansson to the face, followed by a cut to the leg. And that leg cut landed, giving him 1 point. So we are now at 3-4. A close match. Interesting. Mikhail Bakir of Russia doing a very creditable job against a much taller, very experienced Christopher Stansson. All right. Looked like there was a thrust that landed, and in the process of landing the thrust, he lost his sword. It'll be 2 points for Bakir.
And we go to half-time with Bakir in the lead. Not by much, though. One clean strike by Stansson, and they're in a tie.
It's true, but you know, Stansson is taking an interesting strategy. I mean, he's doing a lot of blows to the leg, and I really don't think it's doing him any favors. At first, he was taking a number of blows straight to the leg without any kind of a setup, which is very risky, and he paid for it with thrusts and cuts to the head that gave Bakir an early lead. Finally, he changed up his game a bit and started preceding those cuts to leg with some kind of a high line feint, which is good fencing. For example, one of them, he did a thrust to the face, and when that drew the parry up, he did a nice cut to the leg that scored. That's the kind of good fencing you want to see. Frankly, what he was doing before was a little bit surprising to me. Over-reliance on reach. All right, a little bit of a
strike to the head by Bakir.
Yep, and followed by
low line cut by Stanson.
Right, and the cut landed. The high line cut by Bakir landed. The other one did not, by Stanson. Thrust followed by a series of cuts by Bakir, followed by parry, and then a cut to the arm of the body by Stanson that scored. That was a we're at 7-5 now in this final round. It looked like a cut to the midsection by Stanson. I did not see what Bakir landed.
Bakir
Looked like it might have been the head cut.
And that's the story of this fight: is Stanson going for the low lines and Bakir going for the head, which is setting him ahead at 8-5.
Not a good strategy for Stanson.
Stanson needs to start thrusting or cutting high this late in the game.
Right. Keeps going for that leg. Can't leave that leg alone. Not using his buckler to advantage either, keeping it retracted. Just lost his weapon. It looked like a cut to the head by Stanson, followed by a cut to the arm, I believe it was, by Bakir.
And this is what Stanson needs to do now with almost only a minute left.
Trading blows, though, is not what Stanson needs to be doing at this point, because that is not going to carry him through to victory.
Cut
and
to the head
especially going to the low line.
Is what he needs to do, score-wise.
Oh, that looked like a good... I thought I saw a thrust to the face there by Stanson. It looks like the judges saw that too. I think it was followed by a cut to the low line. That was what he needed.
We are at a draw with 30 seconds left in the fight.
So we'll see if Stanson needs to but then
thrust
he did the same
strike
thing.
To the head.
And that is good. That cost him the fight. He reverted to going for the low line, and he took a... Well, I thought...
He's got... So he's got one last exchange to set this right, to bring it to sudden death, or with a thrust to the body or a hit to the head.
He needs a head blow.
He'll win this.
He needs a cut to the head or a thrust to the head or torso. 1 point each. And that is it. Very close fight.
Ahead. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Mikhail Bakir from FFC Paladin, Russia.
A well-earned victory.
Well-earned victory against the formidable Christopher Stanson. That's a big win for Bakir.
It is, but I have to say it was inexplicable to me why Stanson kept going for the low line when it kept not paying off.